Hey, Wheatfield. Welcome back to the Wheatfield. This is your girl, Lottie, here at Tears and Wheat to Roll Show, where you show enough never know what you gon' get. Today, this morning, has been just a little bit strange. We are dealing with this empowering question. It is the emotion of shame. What would you do if you didn't feel shame or if you were able to release it? So we're going to discuss it. We're going to jump right into it. But before we do that, you know how we do. We have to give you the disclaimer and welcome you. We have to welcome you. Yes, welcome my wheat. How y'all doing? If y'all back returning, you know your girl. It could be slow cooking with cold Crisco. Okay, it feel like one of the mornings, but we do gotta sip. We gotta sip. So welcome to you. If you knew, hey wheat, how you doing? Welcome to you too. My name is La T. I am a channeled messenger. We message with the spirit of the eternal Lord of all of creation. That which called everything by its infinite intelligence. It is here too. Welcome. Thank you for my awareness and the breath of life that binds and connects me to you and to everything. And we believe and know for sure that since the Lord of all of creation made everything by its infinite intelligence and connects it with a breath of life, the word is left on everything. So we read all words. So therefore we read creation. So if you can rock with that, if you can hang on in there with your girl, subscribe by the end of it if you vibe. And if you care about it, share it out. And if you really want to come back on a daily and get this spell, hit the bell. We always take thumbs up and likes so we can have your energy. So do that, please. It does. It means so much to me. It does. Your comments, your cares, everything. I mean, it's just what we need to grow so we can get these messages out, okay? So let's just jump on into it. We are talking about shame today, and we are just kind of shuffling a couple of decks of cards right now just to see what's going on, because we have a text here, and we kind of been chewing on it just a little bit. We've read the text. We read it not last summer before last. I think it was summer of 2021. I believe we read it. And yeah, perfect timing. Perfect timing to release shame. Father says, trust that. Trust that. You're probably on your way to healing. And if you are, don't stop. Don't stop. Father says you're ready. You're ready. And releasing shame is one of those things that, and releasing shame and forgiving self is one of those things that must be done, because if you don't, it could really affect your abundance and your ability to listen to your intuition. It really can. Because shame is one of those emotions that's compacted. It's something that we hide away. It's one of those pieces of self that we reject, and we don't really work to balance that thing out because it's shameful. We don't want to share it with anyone. But Father says in the near future, you may have some helpful people around you that may be able to help you with that. Get you on a good way to some new beginnings and a fresh start. Whatever it is that you're going to do is definitely a part of your life purpose. So we see pay attention to your dreams underneath there too. So maybe you will get some messages in your dreams about either your pathway, your purpose, or just releasing some of those things that are in your emotional closet. And Father say, making a commitment to deal with those emotions and forgiving yourself. You may feel like you've definitely done something wrong, and that's what shame does. It makes us feel like we are so wrong and so out of pocket, essentially, that if anybody knew, that they would reject us. They wouldn't love us. They wouldn't see the good. They probably would think that we are unworthy. You know what I mean? So we stuff that away. And especially if it's been a misstep over misstep over misstep, it really becomes challenging to kind of unpack and pull all the layers off of that thing, right? So let's look at this. This is the text, you are your best thing. And this text says, just as much as shame is limiting, it is also incredibly isolating. It's not just a feeling of no one understanding what you're going through, but it is the idea that no one will ever love you because of the mistakes that you have made. It is a lie that you tell yourself because there's so many skeletons in the closet that someone might find you unworthy or even disgusting, right? And this feeling can stick to you because it is a truth that you embrace. You embrace that as a truth, like, oh man, I can't say this, I can't tell nobody this, because it is so bad and so vile that I reject me. I reject that part of me, so I stuff it down. And if I reject that part of me, then for sure others will reject me too. No one will receive me if they knew this thing or that thing. So what does that do, beloved, in terms of blockages, unprocessed emotion, rejection of self, the lie that we tell to self that we've taken on as truth, feeling that we are so different from others and our mistakes are so different from them that no one will understand it. We can't be vulnerable. We can't show it. We can't share it. We must hide it away. And in that, we feel that no one knows our true self. No one really knows who I really am. I can't be my true, authentic, yeah, release your true, authentic self. Authenticity. And with that being said, we need to pray. Oh, the rest of the disclaimer. We don't think we said that. I think we kind of got squirrel jumping into this text. Because it's been, like I said, it's been like cold Crisco this morning, like really trying to get this out the can. Just even, you know how sometimes you might have to get down to the bottom of the can because you need to replace that boy because inflation is like to what? So you need to get down there and get around the edges and the sides and scrape that shit and get it in there. Just that little bit left that you can get, that every little bit of crumb. Might even want to sit the can itself on the stove and let it warm up so you can pour it out, you know what I mean? Because it can be thick. And shame is one of those things that's very compacted and stuffed and is misstep over misstep over misstep. And we may deal with it, but the way that we deal with it is just not resolving it. It's not transmuting the energy so the energy of it remains. And are you able to address that with anyone, self include? You know, can you look at it in self and accept your wholeness and give yourself that forgiveness? Give yourself some grace to know that you are human. And humans make mistakes. They do. And mistakes are a part of learning. Yes. So with that, let's pray. We didn't tell them we probably need to say that before we pray. We do. Okay, y'all. Again, today is the day. We dealing with some stuff. We got to get it out. It's thick. We said that. We feel like it's going to be a crock pot. If you still here, stick around. Don't go nowhere. It comes together. I'm telling you, it do. It might feel like a hot mess right now. Like, what the hell is she going through? But a lot of people who are going through shame and that emotion feel like that. Like, what the hell? Like, how am I supposed to get through this? How am I supposed to tell anyone this? How am I supposed to even get it out? Especially if you are at the point of wanting to admit the truth to someone and have that hard conversation. That is kind of like what I feel like. The conversation on shame is just difficult. It is very hard to be raw, to be vulnerable, to even sit in a position to express that to anyone. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying go dig up a whole bunch of shit because to what? No. But I'm saying to be able to have the conversation with you, for you to come to get good with it. Because I hear the song, live through it. Gotta turn off that alarm off. Grow through it. You can make it if you just pray through it. Don't let this be the end for you. Right? I sing like nobody's listening. So, And shame can make you feel like it's the end for you. Like I said, nobody's gonna really love you. Nobody's really gonna understand. And if I tell them, they will reject me. And so oftentimes the relationships that we have are just as toxic as that feeling. That is what I've been trying to get to, beloved. That right there. Sometimes holding on to that sentiment that I can't address me, I can't be real with me, I can't accept those things that I've done in the past because they are so shameful, they are so hurtful. They separate you from yourself. You tell yourself lies that you are unworthy, that you are not deserving. And in order to receive your abundance, in order to have that, to hold it, to repair the esteem of self, then we must deal with shame. We must break it down and transmute that energy so that what comes out will be goodness. You can make it if you just get through it. Get through the unpacking of the shame. So we got to get back to our disclaimer. We are a channeled message. Messenger. We said that. We said who we message with, where we get our downloads from. But what we did not say is that we are not religious. We are not religious at all. Even though we use theologies because they hold the principles and the principalities that we need to get through this plane. And we study theology all over the plane. Theologies from all over. How the source has spoken to us. We feel all over the ages through all the cycles. Do we look at it? So whether that's in astronomy, whether it's in the body, biology, whether it is in texts and scriptures from all over, and we'll look at the consistencies and pull that thing together so that it is shown up, approved, and bonded. Okay? So that's what we do. If you could rock with that again, if you could vibe, subscribe. If you end up seeing how all of these ingredients and chopped up pieces come together to make a whole meal, something that's good for you and sticks to your soul, then share it out if you care about it. You know what I mean? And again, if you like this spell, hit the bell. Come on in, and your thumbprint is also good too. It helps me more readily identify and pick up on you, my week. All right. So we're going to jump into a little bit of prayer. See if we can get this thing smoothed out and we can rock and, just flow a little bit better with this thing. And then see what it shakes out. That's really what it's about. And we just chop it up. That's all it is. We just chop it up so we can chop this shit up and get it out. Because the abundance is on the way. And for you to know that you are deserving, we got to get this shit out the way, because otherwise you will be in your own way and push your blessings away, okay? And we don't want to do that, no. We want to be able to receive all of the goodness onto self, every bit that it belongs to you, receive it and allow it to come into you. And anything that's not for you, let it be blinded and blocked out, you know what I mean? And that protection. But first, protect you, from yourself, from your own judgments, yes, from your own rejection, yes, from your own isolation. We're going to work on unpacking that, okay? Thank you, Father. Our eternal Lord of creation is here. We are aware of you and our spiritual team that is with us, yes. We are aware of the infinite intelligence of the all and the breath of life that connects and binds us all. Please, please, Father, set me back and come forth. Please help me deliver this message, a message that is edifying unto self first and foremost, so that I may be edified as your wheat, yes, to release the tares also in my life as we go forward to edify you in goodness, yes. Help us give up shame in every area and release it so that we may receive your goodness, that we may know that we are ready and prepared to receive every good thing that you would have onto us. Let us make space and room for that. And as I make room in my life to receive goodness, allow me to be so full that I can serve that up to you and out onto my wheat so that they may be edified as well, Father. And they take that edification and they serve it up to you, Father, yes, so that they may make room and receive all of the goodness that you have for them. Let us come together over these principles and magnify ourselves and receive or give up all of that which is hindering us, which is holding us back. Let us sacrifice that onto you in goodness, for goodness sake, so that we receive your grace in every good thing that you will replace those iniquities with, yes, all of our transgressions, yes, everything that we feel we are unable to speak out, even unto self, even unto you, because we feel that they are so shameful, so deep that we reject it. We can't even look at it. Father, help us to face it. Help us to face it. Help us to face it and to release any fear, to face it with faith that you are there with us to receive us in love and grace and mercy, as we can give that same love and grace and mercy back onto self. Yes, to be able to call ourselves into wholeness, to give us the love, ourselves the love that we need first and foremost. Allow us to feel it deeply from you and from within self so that we know that we are forgiven, self-forgiveness for anything that we have done in the past. As we sit here on this day, you have given us your grace, your mercy, and we only need to realize it. We only need to realize that we are forgiven and to go forward with forgiveness of self and honesty and truth and have faith on that, just a little bit of faith that we grow and magnify daily, daily, daily. We serve it up to you. Anytime that emotion comes up, we bust it up, we bust it up, we serve it up, we speak it out, we profess it onto you, Father. Yes, we do. For self-edification. For self-edification. Heaven has come to earth to do a work. It has. It resides in earth and on earth, and we are taking on the whole human being. And in taking on that human being, we make mistakes. We do. We are learning. We are learning for our growth and for our ascension. We are. And as we journey through this, please help us to release those missteps, to receive your mercy, to have our cup overflow. We hold on lightly to these things and let them go. We let them go. We receive the lesson and we let the rest fall away. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Please, Father, brighten up my light and keep me protected in this space. Keep your message protected. Protect me, protect any wheat that comes here to receive the message to eat. Yes, yes, yes. For we do not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High God. And as we sit in creation, we use every word written on creation for our growth, for our knowledge, for our going forward, for our ascension. Please block us out. Not block us out, but block out anything that will come against us. We feel like we are ready to go. If we are in alignment, Father, please grant us with your ashe or give me further words that I must pray. Are we in alignment, Father? Yes. Please seal us, brighten our light, so that anything that comes against us may be turned back. It cannot come into this space to bring confusion, disillusion, to distort or conflict this message. Please give us clarity, clarity, clarity in this space at this time. Please seal us. Please tell us if we be ready to go. What is it? This one? This? Anything else? No. This one as well, yes. This. Is there something else? This. This. What is it? Is it on the table? Why does it feel so confused? This one. Father is telling me to slow down. That there is no confusion. It's just a very slow process. Something that seems to be very, almost very sensitive. Like the issues of the shame and the why. Why it is very, very, very sensitive, I feel. Yes. So, it's very sensitive. Are we ready, Father? Is there something here? Father's saying that someone has some very, very deep shame and is like stuck, very, very impacted in that heart chakra. It's really blocking your heart space. Yeah, somebody is. See this? Somebody is really feeling the blues. I feel very deep, very deep. Yes. I'm guilty at times of running from vulnerability. Whoever is vulnerable, at risk, disposable, Whoever is vulnerable is at risk. Disposable, indispensable is at the heart of the politics of vulnerability. I'll read that again. Feeling the blues, the politics of vulnerability. I'm guilty at times of running from vulnerability. Whoever is vulnerable, at risk, disposable, and dispensable is at the heart of politics of vulnerability. Our identities matter, and safety about who we are vulnerable with is important. Should I be vulnerable with men who fear me? Should I be vulnerable with those who dehumanize me? These questions are important for us to weave the connection of how to be vulnerable can cultivate healing-centered engagement with all people. Studies of vulnerability in general have examined a range of disabling qualities. Studies of vulnerability in general have examined a range of disabling qualities and diminished capacities resulting from a place of helplessness or shortcoming. Yes. Studies of vulnerability in general have examined a range of disabling qualities and diminished capacities resulting from a place of helplessness or shortcoming. It shows us that the power that can come from discovering vulnerability in our personal and professional lives. That there's a power that comes from discovering vulnerabilities in our personal and professional lives. So to dig that out, to root it out. And one of the things that they use or they talk about is like the blues, right? Like just that old music, like that jazz music. The blues come from down south. And the blues itself is something that was born out of hurt, out of pain, right? Suffering, I feel. And from that, it's a feeling of shame. Some of us can afford to be more vulnerable than others. Those with power, privilege, security are all conditions that can affect who is vulnerable and who is not. The consequences of being vulnerable and what we gain from being vulnerable in our relationships can be, a thing. What do you gain from being vulnerable? A lot of people use it as a politics, showing vulnerability in this space to garner support, and others will mask their vulnerabilities and keep them because they feel that they will not be supported or that they will lose support. So it's all about this politics of when to be vulnerable and when not to be. Okay? And I apologize if this, no I don't. I mean, it's just a message. It is what it is. I mean, like, it comes together the way that it comes together. So I pray that you are still with me, that you can hang on in there and that you can bring these pieces together because it's definitely a time to release it because someone is really mentally struggling, but the cycle is calling for you to release it, moving into a good space. The temperance angel is here as well, but it's on that dark side where it's pouring out sand because again I feel someone is really struggling with the blues of vulnerability, not being able to release it, not feeling like there's anything to gain by releasing it, like it probably would just cause more hurt, I feel. And we see that someone may have a little bit of a challenge with moving forward, maybe blocking out some stuff and maybe it being protected or blocked out for a reason. Goodness, we see the Five of Wands, that there's a conflict here in that, and we see the Five of Swords, someone feeling like they've given up the fight, that they're just kind of sitting there in this space. Again, I feel the blues, sad, the rain is pouring down. They don't have the swords in their hand. They're not trying to run away with anything. They're just kind of sitting in it. Again, we see Nine of Pentacles here, but it's on the negative energy. Like maybe in the past, what you did, again, was not in the light, in the positive energy. I feel this. Is this an energy? Yeah. What did I say? It was a negative energy. Yeah, not sitting in the goodness. But Queen of Swords is on the upright in this right here, but she's challenged because it's blocking someone who's very smart, and they might be sitting on that cusp, like I said, in the middle of, you got your one side that's the good, and you got the other side that's not so good, but not being able to come to wholeness and goodness with yourself and the ability to move forward. There's something in your mental space that is keeping you from moving forward. This mental space right here, there's a block there. There's a conflict, something that you are wrestling with the Five of Wands, definitely. But we see a new cycle here is coming in. The new cycle is here, and maybe there's something about this new cycle and the blockage or the defense, the protection, and it could be protecting what is down in there, protecting that shame, protecting the shame, choosing whether or not how to go forward. Release the lie, I feel, and feel it, or to sit and hold on to it. What is the direction I feel? And we see the Three of Cups here on the good side. There's a celebration there, and celebration and goodness for Three of Cups is people who are celebrating with you, people who will be there to receive you. And we see helpful people here, and we see that energy is in the near future, and behind that is to be assertive. So, and I don't know if assertive means to express, whether that's to express to people or to just work assertively to break up the feeling of shame. Again, that politics of shame, I'm feeling called back to that, is whether or not you feel like there is something to gain by releasing. What is the gain to release it? And the gain is always forgiveness of self. It is to open up space to receive what's good coming to you, to realize that this right here, forgive yourself. This says you've done nothing wrong, but even if you did do something that we consider wrong, like you knew better, or maybe you, again, I feel people who've gone through, maybe abusive types of situations. I don't know if I can say that, but toxicity in the past can lead you down the wrong way, because we are here for learning, right? We are here for learning, and we learn based on our experiences. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles is in the dark. Queen of Pentacles is in the dark. We have Hierophant in the dark. That's feeling like you're going to be judged harshly. Something or someone is going to judge you harshly. So maybe you were in a dark place. Toxicity, I feel. Queen of Pentacles is definitely somebody that's usually gracious in giving. She's about her money, smart, and investment. And maybe the space you were operating in, or a person that was around you, was not in that way, and it led you to learn toxic things. We see the Hermit, and it's on the dark side, like not having a guide, look, you see the light is out. There's no light, there's no light, there's no guide, being in a very, very dark place, very dark place. Six of Pentacles is on the dark side, not feeling like there's any give, or maybe you had to do something coming from a place of lack in order to gain. Yes, and it definitely will cause you some shame, that feeling of shame. But the Ace of Wands is here, something to try and help you, a goodness, a good tool, something to, I feel, bring you out, to pull you out. Or maybe it is learning something new. Again, a different way of approaching things, a different way of battling all of this negativity and toxicity that is kind of packed up down in here from the past. And in order to get into this lightness that we see here, let's see if we can get this down here. In order to get into this lightness that we see over here, we see making a commitment, make a commitment to forgiveness, to forgiveness. And that, again, we see the light with the karma to transmute this energy, transmute it. And that is something that you will be able to defend. You won't be able to defend your abundance that's coming in without transmuting the energy. This cycle right here is is closing, and it's going to close in a good way. And because I think that what you are doing is attempting to balance this out, this energy, to balance it, to balance it. Which way does it go? This way. To balance that out, to move into a better space, because someone is, they are afflicted. We can see the shame. We can see the affliction. And maybe you are struggling to come out of it. And the advice is to forgive yourself, to you forgive yourself. And that is how you will end up getting to here. That is the Ten of Pentacles. That is the success, the abundance. And in order to really keep that, we must release shame. Because to reject yourself will leave the remnants of not so great self-esteem, right? Not feeling so good about you, right? And if you don't feel like, you know, you deserve your abundance, if you don't feel like you deserve it, you won't keep it. You will act in a way that will push your abundance away from you. Am I in the right deck? No. Okay. We do see, though, you've got the love. This is where we ended at. You know, codependency, boundaries. We see inner child here. Inner child, tenderness. Maybe you have a gift, you know, or that abundance is going to be your gift. Something rare with that, this Ace of Wine right here is a skill, I feel, or a tool. It's like something coming in to help you. Like the Father is going to come and help you break down some of these things. Because I do feel that you may have absorbed some things that really don't belong to you. Like, again, this comes, I feel, very, very deep, deep issues. A feeling of lack here, of unequal give and take. Somebody in your past that may have just not been a good example or a role model. This could be somebody of influence to you. They could be a parent. They could be a caretaker, or someone that was in position, right, that just, you know, you didn't have a light, no internal guide, no equal give and take, somebody that left you feeling out there in the cold, you know, and that brings, you know, those toxic feelings. I don't feel like this was a good experience young. And when you see the Hierophant, I feel like this person may have had some authority over you, is what I feel. And this upbringing in childhood or very young in life, you know, can cause us to act in a way that is just misguided. You know, you see your internal compass with the Hermit does not have a light on. It could lead you to act in a way where a coming out of a feeling of lack, again, of unequal give and take. And when you don't have that, you learn to try and go get things in a way that's just not good, right? The tactics of that, put you in a challenge. How do you do it when you haven't had the example of getting it in a goodness way, in that positive light? And maybe you didn't have any patience with self or patience with others, right? Or feeling like you were worthy of being able to move forward. Like I've done so much, and I know, like I judge myself harshly. There's no forgiveness here. There is pouring out sand. It's dry. There's no flow in this, right? And the boat has a hole in it, like it's sitting there on the side and destroyed. Like there's nothing. I'm not moving forward. I'm stuck in this space right here, anxiety and feeling like that mental conflict. And I feel like it's back from that past. And it's put you in a challenge. Like maybe you are very smart, because Queen of Swords is smart, and she uses her sword of discernment. But maybe you were challenged in discernment because what you saw was not so great. It doesn't feel like the examples of goodness were here. And it feels like, again, I feel parent. I feel, whoever you are as a role model. But when I set these up, it flipped to the goodness. So I feel like you are working your way from this space up into here, like trying to transmute that energy to go into this new cycle. And in that, we see a couple of different things. We see self-forgiveness that's going to help with that, and you being committed to forgiving self, yes. And we see, maybe you're going to battle with these issues, and that is a good thing. Like maybe you are internally, battling to rid yourself. The politics of it. Is it good for me? Is it not? And I feel like the karma on the wheel being on the light side is saying that you will win this battle, the battle of self, for self-forgiveness, and you will move into a state of protection and defense, because you definitely have some sort of help from the Most High coming in. Yeah, and that is going to be protected as well. I see defense, protection, but there's also this right here, the challenge. The challenge of, the lies and deceit. Sitting in it or walking away from it. Sitting in it and walking away. Sometimes you have to just deal with I feel like you're dealing with it. Like it is the blues. Again, that's what I feel. Like the blues here, just, you know what you've done. You're not looking to go away off into it right now. You're just sitting here, not go off into it, but deal with it. Like maybe pick up what's left and go on. Like she has the two swords, the sun is out. It's like, okay, the three, whatever the case may be that happened to the other three, she picked up the two and I'm going on. Like I got this and I'm moving forward. But this one right here, that energy of just sitting with the rain falling, swords are on the ground, not even, attempting to pick up and retain what's left, I feel. Maybe, you can write that, to take what you have left, accept the situation for what it is, and move forward into your Ten of Pentacles type of situation. Like that abundance, that wholeness. But in order to receive your wholeness, you definitely want to bust up that past feeling. Maybe it wasn't, again, like with the card that Father brought out was, You forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. Maybe the thing that you hold on to really wasn't your fault. Even if you made decisions and as an active participant, if your examples and your early teaching was off kilter, you didn't have someone to really guide you in that good way, it is feasible that we'll make mistakes. I mean, like your decision making will be off. And to realize that and to let that go is a whole thing, beloved. It's like, okay, well, yeah, put a dead to it, to release it. Nobody is perfect. They're not, And especially if you didn't have a light, a guide. We saw that hermit with a light out. We saw the Queen of Pentacles and with a Hierophant. Someone that is supposed to be gracious and someone who has authority, probably authority over you, like I feel like a mother type of figure, then I see house over here on the Kipper. Like, again, whatever was happening in the home may not have set the examples for you to have good decision making early on, and that's something that you might have to accept. And acceptance of that is in a challenge. We see trickery, we see rejection here, that maybe someone feel like they will be rejected. Maybe they feel like, you are tricking others, like by not showing your full self, or you have to trick them. I feel like having to boast yourself up to be more than who you are because you don't really believe in who you are. An impasse with accepting your old self. Maybe you feel like people are going to gossip and talk about you. But in order for you to grow, you have to accept your old you. Accept your own, your completion just fell back out. To put a dead to those old issues. Maybe it's something in there that you need to put a death to. Is there anything else in here? We have despondent, so that's always one seeking in the spirit for advice, going to the Father. And I think that's where that Ace of Wands is going to come in at as you work through those Eight of Swords energy, like the confliction in your head, the mental anxiety, the mental insecurity on what happened in the past, being able to let that go. To put a dead to it. Yeah. Because you feel like somebody is going to talk trash. That, it will lead you to have relationships out of obligation. For some reason, like you must have a loyalty or hold on to this thing out of obligation. This one, yes, soul journey. So hopefully these pieces are starting to come together for you, because shame is definitely, see, blame here, blaming self, fear, unable to let go of the fear. Courage is here as well, but I don't feel courage. It feels like someone is afraid to let it go. Even onto self, even onto the Most High God, because it's not meant for you to always to go through, maybe you can't, yeah, grief is here, causing some grief. Maybe you feel like, to face this will cause some grief. Maybe you need to try to hold on to a sense of pride. I love myself and see myself in everyone. Not when you feel that deep level of shame. And Father put it in the challenge to say, it's very difficult to see yourself in everyone when you reject you. Yes, again, we see the completion. To put a death to it is some things that you need to put to rest, because whatever is in there, I feel like you just didn't have a good example. Yes, failures, put to rest your failures. Maybe, again, you did not have the home example. And when you started going out making choices and decisions, some things were not in a good way because you didn't have that good guidance. It was toxic. It was disillusioned. It was distorted. Therefore, our early decision making is distorted. And you can forgive yourself because you know not what you know not. And it is a portion, a part of learning. And to take that vulnerability to the Father, to give yourself grace, I feel. Yeah, because somebody is definitely dealing with regret. Maybe it was a, I don't know if it's indecision or just the decision. I feel like it was the decisions that you made that you feel that you regret. Maybe it has something to do with relationships, right? It could have, I'm attracted to those who serve my highest good. But in this, it could be acceptance is back out. We saw that in the chakra, to accept. And this is, again, whatever decision. I don't feel indecision. I feel to accept whatever decision it was that you made that led to the sentiment of blame, of shame, grief, something that you regret. And to hold on to that is going to stop you in your new cycle. You have to transmute it and you have to release it and let it go. And it probably will give you some service. Maybe you will use that energy as a part of your service. I always feel good when I can help others. And being vulnerable does serve others, to show people that you can be open and authentic, and releasing shame and guilt is one of the ways that we get to happiness. It opens up the door. But your happiness will be challenged truly if you are unable to do that. It does. And going back to service, the choice here, judgment, I feel like you're judging self, still judging you. And that is a part of the gossip. I think the gossip could be internal speech, what you say to yourself. Because I don't feel like, again, being vulnerable is the issue, to express it, not even onto the Most High. We have joy here, and to get to the joy, you have to release the shame. Shame, because it definitely will impact your self-worth. Are you, look what's right here, forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgive yourself, beloved. Forgiveness. Forgive, forgive, forgive you. You don't know what you don't know. Learning how to be human. Learning how to be human. Learning how to be human. I told y'all sometimes, look, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Pulse of the mother, slow down, slow down. Father told me to slow down earlier. Because we get heated up and we get to cooking and we get to going. The energy get to flowing and we speed up, because I could feel it. I could feel how deep and intense the emotion is, and it can make it difficult for me to try and express and channel that and give what the Father would have me say for edification. Again, we just threw a whole deck. There's one of these in here. Let yourself be seen. No, soul growth, conflict, inner child tenderness, that's another one. Yes, let yourself be seen is a good is an energy that's on here as well. Do you want this? No. But do you want it to face up? Yes. Okay. We'll leave that facing up. We pretty much are getting ready to wrap this up anyway. We feel like we're getting there. Is there anything else on the table, Father, that you would like to have? Okay. Archangel Michael, we'll go back here. We already see to forgive yourself, the forgiveness. Forgive yourself. Forgiveness. We saw forgiveness here in the angel deck as well earlier. But Father said it's something else in here. Slow down, slow down. Healing is a process. It is a lifelong process. But to accept the fact that we've made mistakes, we've done things that were not to the good for self and may have been hurtful to others, I feel. Use your imagination and you'll see the answer. Dear God, thank you for granting me wisdom and creativity to see your miracles in new and unexpected ways. I felt like that Ace of Wands out of the Opposites Tarot, when we saw in this deck here, that Ace of Wands to accept, the help in getting into your new cycle. Like the Most High is going to send you help in that, but it's going to be in an unexpected way, right? It's going to be something that you didn't even think of. But to accept it, we have to write the self-worth. The self-worth is a challenge because you have not forgiven yourself from things from the past relationships, happenings that happened in there, things that you need to put a death to, things that made you feel like you may have failed, things that caused you grief, things that caused you fear. And all of those things are challenging your happiness or to experience happiness or goodness. Things that are keeping you from feeling prideful or, again, that self-worth. We see blame here. We see your service is all in a challenge. What it is that you are supposed to do. And in helping others and getting into that, to do it from a true, authentic space, you have to forgive you. You have to have some acceptance of your whole self. And that is where we can get joy in, right? We see regret, but to release this, accept your whole self, and forgiveness brings in the joy, right? That Ten of Pentacles that we saw here, that's joy, that is fulfillment, that is fullness, not necessarily the love, but that is the abundance of all. And Ten of Pentacles can represent a lot of love in terms of, we saw service, fulfillment, and not just fulfillment, but the Ten of Pentacles could be a successful business, it could be a successful relationship, and the only thing that couples with that is the Ten of Cups. That ultimate love. But I feel like someone is going into a cycle of success which could be hindered by the past shame, those little remnants, and I don't even feel like they're remnants, a little. I feel like they're big chunks of things that are packed down in there. It will definitely hinder your ability to go forward fearlessly. Again, self-respect is right here, and that is a part of that self-worth. Yes. Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see myself as you see me, through the eyes of love. Thank you for honoring and respecting me. Please guide me to do the same for myself and grant me the courage to speak up on my own behalf. I ask for your protection in all of my relationships so that I am surrounded by loving and kind people. Loving and kind people. Forgive yourself. You've done nothing wrong. I ask you to help me let go of self-blame. We see blame. Self-blame. Right? Please guide me in releasing toxic anger or fear towards others. Thank you for allowing me to feel centered and at peace. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Your ability to go forward fearlessly. Where do we see a self-worth card? There's a seat for you in this new cycle. But are you able to forgive yourself from those past instances, those past missteps where you didn't have anyone really showing you the good way to go, beloved? And have some imagination on that, like to know that the Father is with you, that there's grace, there's mercy, that it has forgiven you. And now the next step is for you to forgive you, for you to release it. Realize that you are worthy. You are worthy of forgiveness, forgiveness of self, as you have already been forgiven. And when you can do that, you will step into this self-worth, and your joy is here. We saw joy, we saw protection, we saw the health, we saw defended, we saw good karma, transmutation into good karma. Yes. Father says to go forward fearlessly. But first, we need to pull in that self-respect, self-worth, righting your pride, being okay with you, realizing that you've done nothing wrong, and even if you feel like you have, it's okay to let that go, because maybe your guidance system wasn't there. We saw, the hermit didn't have no light. Do you want one of these? Which one? This one? True love. True love is here. The love of self, the love of the Most High is with you. Yes. And make the effort was right on top. Great love is worth taking the steps you're guided to take. And I feel like right now you are being guided to forgive yourself, to let those past things go. Is this an energy? No. This? No. Is there anything else in here? No. You said what you had to say. And when I split it, look, make the effort. Right back out, because that's what Father needed to say. Healing your inner child, being tender with you, caring, nurturing, mothering yourself. Yes, because you definitely have a conflict, but it's soul growth. Soul growth. Releasing karmic relationships, and we definitely see the relationship card down in here. Grief, failure, relationships. So there's something in here in those relationships. Again, I felt a very early relationship with a female energy, and I don't know if that person judged you, maybe judged you harshly. Again, maybe they weren't able to give you the lessons that you needed in order to really go forward and learn, what it is, you're supposed to do, how to make the decisions, be a guide. The hermit light was out, beloved. Who was guiding you? Who was showing you the way? I see toxicity, that devil energy was there. Everything was dark in that past. Everything was dark. And so it could lead you to make some poor decisions, not really sure how to get to that abundance. Again, we see moving forward in the light. We see your high priestess, your intuition being activated. We see balance on the light side. That's all that came out. And look at this, the star on the light side pouring out that goodness, the flow, getting back into the flow, getting into the flow. Getting into the flow, getting into that balance, being able to move forward. Yes, using that intuition, using your intuition in a good way, being able to move forward, go forward, moving away from this darkness and into the light. Yes, beloved, yes. But to accept that, to know that you are worthy of it, to receive it, to hold it, and keep it. Because we can move into it and get it like the Father will bless us in that way. Because we saw the Ace of Wands, that help, that heavenly help is coming in. But help you to realize your worth. That you are worthy of every good thing. Every good thing are you worthy of. But to know that so that you keep it. I am worthy. Despite what it used to be, I am worthy. I am worthy. I am deserving. I am forgiven. I am forgiven. I am forgiven. And as I sit here on this day, I forgive myself and release the shame. And I can say it to self and to the Most High God. And there's no requirement to go any further. Release you from your own guilt, from your own blame. Put a death to it. Can you accept you? Can you accept your joy? But the first thing is to accept your own forgiveness. Accept it so you can move into your joy. Know that you are worthy of your joy. Because right now you don't feel like it. You don't feel like you're worthy of it. There's something deep in here that says that I'm not worth it. Forgive you. Forgive you. Forgive you. Forgive you. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for sitting here with me. Mindful. Yeah. Mindful message. We see, but wait, there's more. On the top and on the bottom was magic. We have the magic. There's magic and miracles all around me. Where others see coincidence, I see the evidence of life synchronicities. I love filling life with wonder and magic. It is way more fun that way. Yes. You know, you've been through a lot. I feel a lot. And maybe, again, some of those decisions, casting spells. Be careful what you say over your life. Life and death lives in the power of the tongue. Again, what are you saying to you in your heart space, in your solar, your sacral chakra is holding on to energy from that path that is impacting your self-esteem and your self-worth. Like truly, we have an ability to mask and put that face forward like we to what, but on the inside, are you really to good with unpacking all of that emotion? That fear, that grief, that pain, the regret, all of those emotions we saw in the soul journey, to unpack them, to bust them up, to transmute them and get them out. And I feel that internal speech with casting spells is here. The words I speak and stories I tell are like spells. What I say and believe I attract more of. So I shift my story from lack to abundance, from victim to empowered, from victim to empowered. Make the shift. And from complaint to gratitude, yes. And now when I speak to others through my words, I am casting beautiful spells. Guidance system is here. That is your emotions. I love using my emotions as a guidance system. They show me how close or far away I am from what I want. When I am feeling joy and doing the things I love, I am in a state of allowing for my desires. When I feel joy, when you feel the joy, you are in a state for allowing for your desires. I notice when I am feeling low vibrational thoughts, low vibrational, the need to forgive you, sitting there dissipating, can keep you from your abundance, beloved. It can. I notice when I'm feeling low vibrational thoughts and shift them to release resistance, knowing that you are worthy. You are. Shifting into a sense of worthiness requires forgiveness. Yes, it requires forgiveness because your joy is face down. It almost didn't want me to pick it up because that's the realness, the real. It is hidden underneath all of those other feelings. I feel that solar plexus, so heavy. Solar, sacral, yes. Hold on lightly. That's what we started with in prayer. That's what Father said, to let things go, let it fall away from you. Together, relationships. Maybe there is help. You know, we saw helpful people. I take the things and people that come into my life lightly, not holding on too tight, so that when it comes time for them to go, they may go smoothly. This does not mean I love any less or not value, but that I am open to the changes of life. Maybe there's someone or something that you need to let go of. I feel like letting go of the old you, the old part of you that's hanging around, that's egging at you like you're not this, you're not that, you're, casting those shadows of doubt onto you, because it's like, oh, I remember that this is me, but that's no longer you. You have changed, you have grown, you have morphed, and the Father has forgiven you and given you grace and mercy. Now it's time for you to do the same. Give grace and mercy on to self. Watch how you speak about you, what spells you are casting over your life, okay? Is there anything else, Father? No. No. Well, this is it, guys. This is the reading. We went a little bit long, but we feel like those pieces came together by the end of it. They always do. They always do. Father brings it in together. We start out slow like that cold Crisco. It's kind of choppy, kind of thick. But once the Most High come in and put the heat on it, we get to cooking, we get to rolling. And it comes together. It does. So if you were able to stick around and you vibe with the whole thing, subscribe. And if this is something that you care about or you feel like someone else could use it, share it out. Sharing is caring. And if you want to come back every day and sit through another spell, go on ahead and hit that bell. Yes, we do it on a daily. But know this, we love you. 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 Just like we love ourselves. Thank you so much for your grace and for your time. And to the next Now with your girl Lati here at the Tears and We Tarot show, where you sure enough never know what you gonna get. We're gonna call it an Ashe.